This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Attorney Randy Zellen is joining us. He's also a professor of law at Cornell Law School. I want to get your take on what we saw in the Daybell trial recently with the testimony of Audrey Baratario. This is the one who had some shocking testimony, stating flat out that at one point Lori Vallow looked at her and said something to the effect of, you're so naive. You don't see what's all going on around you. Not everybody is as pure as you would expect. I'm not paraphrasing here, but then threatening to chop her up and bury her somewhere where no one would ever find her. It seemed rather out of character, quite honestly. It's insane of a statement that is. Out of character for Lori Vallow Daybell, at least what we've known about her and the way that she conducts herself with other people, very much on this spiritual way of thinking, not so much homicidal maniac on the surface. What's been your take?
I'm actually torn, and I have always been torn about this case because it's one of the odd quirks. One of the great things about this country is that we are a United States, but we are also comprised of individual states, and individual states can make, to a certain extent, their own laws. Mm-hmm. And in Idaho, there is no insanity defense, which to me is mind-blowing. And I dare I say insane not to have an insanity defense, because if there was probably ever a person who would qualify for the insanity defense, it would probably be Lori Daybell.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I was agreeing. I was just saying sure.
So for me, what's interesting is, does that testimony support her inability to understand the difference between right and wrong and the nature and consequences of her actions, if there were, in fact, an insanity defense? Or does that, in fact, show her to be a stone-cold killer? Mm-hmm. And I wonder, and there's a side of me that almost is leaning towards, something that shows her to be someone who actually knows what she's doing and does understand the difference between right and wrong and the nature and consequences of her actions. And she'll eliminate anyone who poses a threat to her.
It was very much like it lifted the veil off of everything that she says, because a lot of it's almost in code. It's zombies. It's this, it's that. It's we're doing this for this religious reason. This was, if true, just flat out her threatening someone to remove them because they're in her way, or they may have information that she doesn't want other people to know. How do you think?
And to your point, nothing about zombies and devils and you must be cleansed. No, it was, hey, you're a problem and I eliminate problems.
Sure. And to me, I'm kind of torn on it. Yesterday, when I just heard about it through Twitter and people just relaying the testimony, and then actually hearing the testimony today when the audio has come out, yesterday I was almost thinking this doesn't fit Lori. I mean, for everything that we know, the way she talks to everybody, she's never super direct like that with threats. This just didn't seem to add up to me. Like, it seemed very fantastical, even for Lori Vallow Daybell. But after hearing it and hearing it in her voice, the testimony, I do believe the woman who is testifying.
Well, again, then it goes to the point of, has she been putting on an act this whole time, professing to be herself, I guess in a weird way, possessed, and that she was put on this earth to rid the earth of the zombies and those human forms that have been invaded by these zombies? Is it an act? Or is she really someone who, for whatever electrical misfire, messed up synapse, or otherwise, is a true believer. And that testimony, I think, does call into question whether or not she is a fake.
Mm-hmm. What was your take on the believability, on the legitimacy of the testimony? I can't think of any reason for this woman to be going and taking the stand. Didn't seem like she even really wanted to be there by any means to make this up. I mean, unless there's, she wants to write a book or something of that nature.
I can't say it any better than you just did. And I think, again, to put the icing on the cake, the state really doesn't have to be terribly concerned about addressing an insanity defense because there ain't none.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
Randy Zellen, trial attorney and professor of law at Cornell Law School. Thank you for your insight on that one. Hey, if you want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about, there's a phone number for that. It's 888-554-5537, 888-5-KILLER. We would love to hear from you. You can call in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and weigh in with your opinions. May use them on the air as well. I'm Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.